If it is or if it ain't, it's gonna come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration. The juice. It is February the 12th, 2024, and today the topic is 12/24. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday, everybody. I hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Yep, mine was good overall. For those of you all that care and want to know how was the weekend, how was the show, I would say overall the show went pretty well. There were some kinks and whatnot, and of course, me as a creative slash artist slash you know, curator, whatever the case may be, me as somebody that's behind the scenes of the situation. Of course, there's always things that I'm gonna nitpick and be like, man, I should have did this, I should have did that. But for the most part, I was able to do just about everything that I had intended. Um, I ended up getting there early. I ended up being able to set up and even get some content for y'all. So those that follow me on social media, you may have already seen like the sneak peeks that were done to give you guys like a behind the scenes look of the venue and our dressing room and things of that nature. And sharing with you guys a little bit more information about, you know, the show itself as well as my business and things of that nature. So if you didn't see that, I mean, you guys can just again follow me at Actress Miracle Sims on various platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all those places, and you should be able to see the content that I just mentioned. So yeah, there just like I said, there was a few things. Of course, like I said, this being the first show that we've done in the venue, and obviously the first time the client working with us. There's a lot of things that we all had to kind of navigate through, right? But overall, I would say that I was pleased, or the client let me know that she was pleased overall. So that's always good to hear. Um, it does seem like they'll be reaching back out for future endeavors. So y'all just keep me in prayer. Those that pray to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Um, that those things get secured. I'll try to do my best to share, whatever the Lord wants to do. But regardless of what He does in the future, I would say that I'm grateful for what He already did. The experience was wonderful. The people were great. And I pray that everybody had a good experience overall. It was over 100 and something people. So I mean, I'm sure maybe everybody might not have, had the best experience. I mean, it would be, I guess, naive of me to believe that each and every person had a wonderful time. Again, because there were challenges and things of that nature. So, but at the same time, I mean, all I've heard thus far is decent feedback and whatnot. I even saw some comments and things yesterday. People that I guess either found my profile or were commenting under, images and whatnot that the venues shared and things of that nature. Saying the great time that they had. So hey, man, that's all that I can really truly ask for, and I hope and pray that I get the opportunity to come back and revamp some things and see if I can provide an even better experience. So shout out again to the Griffin Opera House. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to have worked with them. And like I said, I'm praying for more opportunities. Prayerfully, again, this would be the first of many. But we're gonna just see what the Lord do. We're gonna see what the Lord do. Um, I was pooped, y'all. By the time I came home, I was like my everything was aching, my shoulders, my feet, all of that, man. So that was one thing. But it wasn't like I could take the next day to rest because guess what? It was Sunday, of course, and y'all know that I'm over there at Mountain West and everything like that. I ended up working through all three of the gatherings, so that was one thing. Because again, over the past month, I've been having the opportunity to sit the third one out, but that didn't necessarily happen for yesterday, but that's okay. Um, Yesterday was disco day in the kids ministry. So, there were a lot of different disco elements that we added into the experience. Um, and some of the kids actually got a chance to dress up and things of that nature. Again, if you follow me on social media, then you may have already seen Disco Madam Miraculous alongside of my son NJ in his disco attire as well. And some of the social media, you might have been able to see some of my fellow Mountain West leaders and things of that nature in their disco attire and whatnot as well. So I would say it went well. It went off without a hitch, as they say. I ended up getting a chance to do a dry ice experiment and whatnot, and that went over well. And yeah, so by the time I got home yesterday, I definitely had to get rested. So that was pretty much the first thing I did. I got comfortable and I went to sleep. So yeah, I know I was telling one of my friends, I'm like, man, I feel like I need to soak my feet and stuff, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But maybe soon, we'll see. But yeah, man. So that was my weekend in a nutshell. There's some few other significant moments. My husband and I tuned into that interview with Monique on Club Shay Shay. So we watched that last night and had, some interesting conversations just around the different things we were hearing her talk about and whatnot. And we were up late, or he was up later than he planned and stuff like that. And so you know, by the time we got into bed and stuff like that, it just was, rest time and stuff. But yeah, and so this morning, I mean, well, first of all, I feel like I've been up for a while. Like I feel like I was doing a lot of being up, studying, taking things in, and then resting. So that's why I'm recording at this time. But again, I've already revamped this thing, so y'all know that this gonna come out when the spirit leads and not at a particular time. But yeah, basically after I had took in some information, I listened to the Soul Space app and all of that. And then I had some dreams as well. I want to say, like, there was a few, dreams. One of them was actually with one of the gentleman that helped out on Saturday at the show. He was in, I was there a couple of my dreams. Like I dreamed something. I think I woke up around 12:24 because that's when I made a note of that at least. And then went to sleep, had another dream I think that he was in. Then went back to sleep, and my husband got up or whatever. So there was a lot of things that transpired this morning between the first time I woke up, which I believe was around 12:24. um and speaking of them, let me go ahead and just give both of those individuals a shout out. Miss Maria Christina Brewer and Derek Coleman. um y'all have, I don't know if y'all would know Maria because she hasn't been on the GSL platform yet. But those people that know me, y'all might know her from being in shows and things like that. But yeah, I don't know a way that you guys would know Maria, but y'all have seen Derek, and I've talked about him before. He is the owner of Brobo's Bites, and he's the caterer, like my go-to caterer gentleman. But I mean, obviously, he has a gift of gab and acting and whatnot as well. So when I asked him if he would like to be a part of the production last year, once I got booked, he did agree, and he came through and did a great job. Both he and Maria did a wonderful job in their characters. Maria went above and beyond and got gifts for me to be able to give out to the audience, people that got best dressed back, best actor in the team that won. So that's an amazing thing too. That to have people that believe in your vision so much that they were so into it. Not only their time, but their talent as well as their finances and whatnot as well. So I truly appreciate both of them, and they really came through and helped me, bring this whole vision to life. So I just want to take some time to just shout them out and whatnot as well. But anywho, um, so 12:24, where's the inspiration behind this, right? So again, I think I woke up. That was the first time I woke up this morning around 12:24. Because again, y'all know that I tend to, when I do wake up at random times, I will Google um, whatever time it is. So I did that this morning, and then again, I went back and forth with the rest. But the interesting thing is, like, once I was thinking about this morning, because there were so many different things I was taking in. I was like, studying different topics, all this different type of stuff. And at some point, I got led back to 12:24, and then I realized that today is the 12th. So that was something. And then I was like, wait. in 2024. So I was like, let me go deeper about this because maybe the Lord wants me to look into this. I did look into the Strong's Concordance, and it was interesting the words that came up for the Greek and the Hebrew, but I felt more so led to look into 1224, what those verses were when I Googled and go deeper about those. Whether they all correlate and have one particular message or not, hey, it's up to us, I guess, to figure that part out. But I'm gonna read the verses that stood out to me to share, and we're gonna see what the Lord has to say through little old me in regards to 1224. So the first verse I saw this morning was John 12:24. It says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it also, or excuse me, it abide alone, or abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit." If you guys go deeper with, as I did, I ended up listening actually to the entire chapter, if you will, or book. No, well, that particular John 12. I ended up listening to that in its entirety, and obviously Christ was talking about his upcoming death, things of that nature. I want to say that very next verse after that was talking about basically us having to lay down our lives, um, and things like that. You guys can go deeper. And matter of fact, I didn't really put anything in the go deeper section in particular. So obviously, you guys can go to gotquestions.org and whatever you feel led to go deeper about with this, feel free. Um, but yeah, it stood out to me this morning to share that verse, and so that's that. I mean, um, there was one of the things that I watched this morning, and I ended up sharing it on our Facebook page. It was talking about why we shouldn't have premarital sex and things of that nature. And I know people probably like, oh, blah, 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 blah," whatever you feel about that. I mean, I'm talking about according to the Bible, not our personal opinions or whatever. But I think it's standing out to me in this moment because one thing it was talking about is that how sin leads to more sin, and ultimately sin leads to death, things of that nature. Um, and even those things that we think that quote unquote don't matter or whatever still leads to some type of issues and things like that. And um I guess I don't know. Just reminded of this because it's like, again, um, something has to die for us to live. I heard that being said. I mean, I know people take an issue, for example, with eating meat. But then even when you eat plants, they die. You know what I mean? Like, so it's something has to die for us to live. I guess it's a natural quote unquote order of the situation, but um in regards to this message of Christ, he died so we could live. Um, Again, we can go deeper about all these and things and stuff like that, but that just came into my heart and mind. So just putting it out there, something has to die for us to live. And it says here, uh, when Christ died, ultimately the fruit is that people like you and me for the years to come are able to live. So go deeper. I'm sure there's more to say, but let me go ahead and go to this next verse. It's Proverbs 12:24. It says, "The head of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute." This is interesting because, again, another thing I took in this morning was talking about what was it? I shared it on my Facebook when I came across it this morning. Um, I think it was like be a creator, not a waiter. Yeah, not a waiter. Yeah, be a creator, not a waiter. And that's interesting. I think my first thought was waiter, like a server vibes. That's what I was thinking. Then I read the article or skimmed it a little bit and realized that it was kind of referring to waiting for someone to give you the opportunity, like what I've already been on. Like I've been telling y'all about that. I would say any time I talk about entrepreneurship, one of the things for me at some point is like I'm going to stop waiting for someone else to give me an opportunity. And I'm one of those, I'll try to do what I can with what I got. Um, and go from there, and things like that. Now, yeah, there's some things that we might have to wait, right? There's some things that we might need to, again, there's timing, all that stuff matters. Obviously, God will and wait, all of that matters as well. But for some of us, it's just as simple as us taking the first step. Take a step of faith. Do something different, or do something. Period. Sometimes we'll just sit there and wait and never move and say that we got faith. Oh, I'm waiting on the Lord, or whatever, whatever. And then sometimes the thing is, He's waiting on us. You know. So that's just something to think about. I'm just reminded of that with that verse. So then here's the last verse that I felt led to share this morning, and it's Mark 12 and 24. It says, "And Jesus answering said unto them, Do ye not therefore err, because ye know not the scriptures, neither the power of God." Ugh. See, all these things that I took in this morning is coming together. So I saw quite a few things today. But one thing in particular was something I saw on Instagram. An individual was talking about, there were some people that were praying in the woods, and that, they got footage of what looks to be light beings, and so they're saying that, these are angels that just appeared, X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm not saying that the footage is done. I don't know about all of that, but what I'm going to comment on is what was going on in the comment section, right? And there were several people that, were like, "Oh, angels don't look like humans, da 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 da," right? Now, granted, I acknowledge that there are, plenty of verses that talk about these, angelic beings, or these different, beings that, wheels that look like wheels in the middle of wheels with eyes. And, so I'm sure that there are plenty of angelic beings that don't look like humans, right? But at the same time, there are plenty of accounts of, beings that they called angels that looked like men in particular. Um, and they had conversations. Lot, if I'm not mistaken, even, offered to wash the feet of these beings. So obviously they had feet like men, and they said looked like men. And the people that came to try to get the men said, "Where those men at that was, was with you?" So, and then not just that, but then, there is a verse in the Bible that refers to us and tell us, hey, be kind to everyone, X, Y, and Z, because you never know, you may be entertaining angels unaware. If angels couldn't look like humans, how could we be entertaining them unaware? Now, again, my understanding that, maybe this idea of female angels might not be accurate, but hey, who knows? But it seems like my understanding is that all the encounters with angels were male looking angels. But regardless of that, humans, they apparently they were able to be uh, look like humans and things of that nature. So for me, right, when I'm thinking about this verse that I just read here, talking about, how we err because we don't know the scriptures, and neither do we know the power of God. I mean, this is just another example why we need to be getting into the word for ourselves, why we need to be studying to show ourselves approved and things of that nature. At the end of the day, you could just see something, people say stuff or whatever, and you just go with it. And then, you know, let's say a baby Christian reads those comments and say, "Oh, well, okay, angels can't look like humans." And they never read for themselves all those verses that I just showed you guys about. And so to me, when I see stuff like that, it makes me say, okay, either these people aren't reading the Bible, or they're not acknowledging it, or whatever the case may be. So again, I don't know what was in the video, but I know that the Bible say that, angels are capable of looking like humans. So again, no, I don't know. It might not be that deep, right? But I think, again, this is an example of us needing to study, needing to read the word, and be at least sure, of what it says and stuff like that. So then we don't be confused, or we don't be misrepresenting what the word says. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to sit here and stand on the soapbox and yell out that, hey, angels can't look like humans, and then one comes right next to me like, brother, The Lord wants me to rebuke you in this moment because we are capable X, Y, and Z. It just behooves us to study and know what we're talking about. Especially when you saying things in a public forum, and things of that nature. So anyway, I'm just reminded of this as I read this verse about us being in error for not knowing the scriptures and not knowing God's power and things of that nature. You guys can go deeper about all these verses. Whatever stood out to you the most about this conversation of 1224, feel free to go deeper about that in particular. Great places and resources to go to. I share them all the time here. Openbible.info, gotquestions.org. Just a great Google search will do you good. But I like to say when you look on Google and stuff like that, I try to say Bible and whatever the subject is. So then hopefully you'll come across things that are specifically from the Bible and things of that nature. But I mean, I guess ultimately the juice this morning is, hey man, what's standing out to me the most right now is studying to show ourselves approved. At the end of the day, like this is a beautiful, little whole, okay, 1224 today is the 12th on 2024, da da da, all that's cute or whatever. But all of these verses are significant in their own ways, as a part of the context that are surrounding them as well. So, you know, that's the juice. Yeah, that's the juice. Let's just get into the word of God for ourselves so we can know that we know that we know, right? But anywho, the Bible verse of today is Romans 12 and 10. It says, be kindly affectionate and one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.